Okay, so hi, I am your host, Adam L., and I'm here today with Luna Ora. She is a teacher and a sex priestess of the Temple of Isis and Lilith, and the founder of the Sex Magic School. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Really good. I just received my sacred blood last night, so I am feeling so, you know, on the human side very tired, but on the spiritual side very dazed and kind of like half dreaming. So I love it.
And it's interesting how that can happen. Like those two things can be happening, but I've
Yeah.
experienced stuff like that too. So it's
Yeah.
very interesting. Um, so I've been wanting to talk to you, and finally I get to talk to you and kind of dive in and ask some questions. And you mentioned that you have two books right now that I wanted to kind of discuss and find out about a little bit more about that. I've been to your website, I've seen your videos, very intriguing and interesting subjects. So, can you tell a little bit about your two books that you currently have?
Sure. So they're the first two levels of the sex magic school. I kind of like to put those labels on them because it's easier for people to kind of understand and connect better in a logical mind. But Sex Magic Evolution is the first one, and it kind of gives you the preparation to be initiated into the wisdom of the Sex Magic School, and not the school but the temple itself of Isis and Lilith. And the second book is Symbols of Sex Magic. It takes you a little deeper. It's more fun and light. It's mostly channeled from the sisters themselves, and it gives you more specific understandings on how to teach, how to use specific symbols within your sex magic practice. So I kind of wanted to make the second one a little bit more light and fun, even though it's not as light and fun, but it's very serious. But after the first book, it's very intense. So a lot of people say it's completely transformed their consciousness and the view of life and themselves and sex and all of it. Because I don't just talk about sex. I go deeper. In order to understand sex, we have to understand so many other things. That's the thing. People want to jump into what we think is sex, but what we think is sex is so limited. And it's, yeah, so some people are resisting. They want to go straight into like the sexual part, and like they want to be the best lovers and show off, and like, but that's not how it works. You're not going to be a good, if you want to go that route, you're never going to be the best lover you can be. So you really have to understand it from the core, what sex is. And what
So,
sex is a portal.
so
And it
what
is. Mhm.
I was just what I felt you were saying is you really need to know how to connect first. You need to understand the connection before going into the physical or anything like that. Am I
On
getting
an
that right?
overall, connection is a part of it, but connection to what? Connection to yourself, connection to the universe itself, connection to another person. But how do we do that? Because no one teaches us how to actually do that. We come to this world on such a, I'm gonna just put my phone on silent. We come into this world into this very limited dream, matrix reality dream that has been programmed for us, and no one teaches us to actually connect, first of all, to ourselves. No one teaches that to us.
Mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm.
my next mission after I finish the third book now, is I want to start um, I want to create some classes on how to teach our girls and boys, because I feel like we need to start talking about this from a very young age, and really connect little boys and girls to their divinity and their power. I mean, we have a whole generation right now of very confused, very lost little boys and girls,
Right.
especially when it comes to their sexuality and connection. I mean, with the cell phones all day, and the sexuality is completely distorted. I mean, yeah, good luck with that. It's going to be an interesting journey.
You have a big challenge ahead of you. It sounds like.
All of
And
us, yeah, all of us, because all the
well, yeah,
children today are all of our, they're the children of all of us. We all have to take responsibility for all children. They are they're the wayshowers, they're the leaders. I mean, being a true mother and embodying the mother and the father and the divine masculine and the divine feminine within us as mature men and women. this is a huge part of it. It's knowing that you are a mother and a father to all life, to animals, to children, to your brothers and sisters. It's taking that responsibility. That's love. That's love. It's not just like sitting in a yoga pose and like meditating and, oh, I believe in love, I am love. That's not it. That's not it.
And would you say
It's
that
taking ownership. It's owning in the positive form of the word, owning other people.
right, right. And would you say in one way, the first thing that needs to be done is the bad foundation of what everybody's been taught needs to be dealt with? I'm speaking from whether society or religion, things like that, because
everything has to collapse. Everything is collapsing. Haven't you noticed? Religion, the school system, this is all bullshit. I'm sorry if I don't know if I can say that word, but it's all BS.
Fine.
I mean, it has to collapse, and it is collapsing whether we like it or not. So yeah, and we see now the people, this pandemic situation has brought up, a lot more clarity on seeing those who are resisting the change, they want the matrix, they want to stay in the illusion. Like if you take away that illusion, they don't know what else to hold on to. And I have compassion for that. I'm angry about that, but I have compassion for that too. But it's we can't. This cannot go on. This way that this cannot go on anymore. People have no idea what they're doing in their everyday lives. It's something I always mention. I literally always mention this because this is the most important and clear example of how we are programmed and not free in what we do and who we are, is eating animals. Is because when you understand the laws of the universe, when you understand magic, when you understand energy and life force, you understand that consuming animal, when you go and you have a little piece of cheese or meat, you are participating in the darkest form, the most baneful form of magic, which is blood sacrifice. And that is so I don't want to go into it now, but just understanding what you are doing, how you are creating your reality with every word and every action you take every day. Taking responsibility, maturing the F up.
That makes sense. So, as you talk about that, I guess my question comes with, like, when did you figure out about that you didn't want to do eating animals or anything like that? Did you from the first day you were born, or did you have like an epiphany or something at some point in your life that go, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. This doesn't feel good to me. Yeah.
So I think it was around the age of 11 or 12. And I don't remember exactly what happened. I just remember that one day I probably saw a video or read an article about the meat industry and then it clicked that, oh, the chicken soup that grandma makes at lunch, it's actually chicken. Right. That's like, it clicked, because for children that doesn't click. Parents think that the kids understand. They do not understand that. You can call this a chicken soup. You can call this, chicken nuggets. They don't put it. That kind of evilness does not click in a child's brain. So when I was 11 or 12, I think it was 12, around the beginning of 12, because we just moved to this other house. I just knew, I just decided I'm not ever eating animals again. My mom was, of course, worried, even though she didn't eat animals as well, but she was worried about me for some reason. And the concept, you have to understand, when I was 12, not that I'm that old, but the word vegan did not exist in the vocabulary, especially in my country, in Israel. Mm-hmm. There was no word. The word vegetarian was already like, you're a freak. You're a vegetarian. You're not going to, you are insane. Like, I have literally every dinner table, sitting with the family or friends, everyone made fun of me since I was 12. All the time, poke at me, make fun of me. And it hurts, but it didn't right. change my connection, because when you make that connection, that soul connection to life itself, to animals, you feel the pain. You just can't go back. You can't go back. So
now, you mentioned that you grew up in Israel. How long did you stay in Israel before you came to the U.S., or did you move to another country first? Or
I left Israel. I think a few months after I finished my my army service, which we all have to do, unfortunately.
Oh
Horrible.
yeah, I heard about
Uh,
that.
yeah, not for me. I think that any Sagittarius automatically should be like signed off from the army. That's not our place.
Right, right.
But yeah, I came to the United States around 21.
Okay.
I was 21.
And when you were growing up, did you have any kind of religious, like Judaism or anything? Was that like, taught to you or forced upon you, or however you would look at it?
I
Um,
am very grateful that it was not forced upon me. My
okay.
mother never forced her beliefs on me, and I'm so grateful for her. She gave me a lot of trust and freedom, and sex was always something to talk about in the house. She always
Mm,
made sure that I'm comfortable with her speaking about everything and expressing myself, which I'm very grateful for my mom. um and so religion was not enforced upon me, even though I am living in a country, in a very religious country. So it's there whether I like it or not. I am in
right.
it whether I like it or not, even if it's not in my house, which I'm very grateful for. Yes, so grateful. Religion has always kind of like creeped me out on a soul level, like on such a deep level that it's like I was born with a trauma for religion, probably from, I don't know if people want to call it past life traumas or whatever. But um and actually a few years ago when I wrote a novel called Promised in Fire, and it's about the religious Hasidic world. And I didn't know I just didn't know anything about it, but I wrote this novel. It just came to me, and my mom, after reading the novel, said that my great grandfather in Romania was one of the biggest rabbis, Hasidic rabbis,
Wow.
in the community. I had no idea. So I guess maybe it comes in the family or something. But Israel is a very interesting uh, energy portal where I experienced not only Judaism but also Christianity,
Okay.
Islam.
Hmm.
Have all the three major religions in this one. And I was born in Haifa, which is a very small city. I mean, Israel is a small country anyway. And you have all the three religions very tightly, experienced in that city. So as being one who's very sensitive to energies and seeing things that are happening underneath this reality,
Hmm.
it was very weird slash interesting slash scary to yeah to
Yeah.
experience that.
that would be that would be something, shocking, I guess would be a good word for it sometimes, right?
Yeah,
um,
especially as a woman, you have to remember that as a woman, it's a very different experience than for a man. A lot of people want to resist that, but it's the reality, whether you like it or not. It is a very different reality if you walk in the street and I walk in the street. So to experience that energy, that, because again, I mean, maybe it's because I am overly sensitive, but to experience now on, walking in the street and just seeing other women covered up
hmm.
head to toe, that's traumatizing for me.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
today this is all I can wear. I can't wear stuff that will cover, even my throat. I have to have that full freedom. Like, I even
There you
seeing just
go.
another woman, like, yeah, there you go. There you go. So, and especially an awakened woman, I feel like, and a woman who's more connected to her sexuality and her divine feminine, I think that we have more ability. All women have that, but when you're more connected to yourself, you have that more to really feel. And I don't know if it's a curse or a blessing, but to really feel the trauma and the pain from all women,
Mm,
because we are
mm.
so connected through our wombs. And I don't have to know this woman at all. In fact, I don't even have to see that woman. I feel her because she's
Wow.
in me and I'm in her. And so being connected to your divine feminine power comes with heaviness, but also with a lot of gifts and beauty. So
Mm.
it's learning how to work with this power and this gift and life force that's running within us, quite literally in our wombs, where the place that life is created.
Wow. I mean, that's a lot to take in right there.
And
It's
and let me ask you, as a man,
okay.
as a
Sure.
masculine person right now, because you have very deep masculine energy. I can feel it. I feel a little bit of your woundness too, but from what I just said, How did it hit you in the heart? Like, what did it bring up for you?
It feeling not in control, feeling vulnerable, um, and more of looking at it from your perspective, not really specifically from mine, but like seeing your side of it and hearing the words, and then trying to put myself in that place to try to understand. Wow, how would that feel? That would be, you know, because like it's totally different. A guy walking down the street and a woman walking down the street, and maybe they both feel energy because I do too, but it's probably not the same, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, just those feelings like vulnerability, not being in control, not maybe not feeling safe sometimes, and then not understanding how to handle, like you said, all the energies coming at you, because sometimes that can be overwhelming.
Hmm. Exactly. And and even if I'm not in a place of physical danger, like, oh my God, these people are going to attack me right now, which there is a lot of that, especially when you're sensitive to that. Even when I'm in a physically safe space, there is the other layer of energies that a woman receives from men that is not necessarily always very healthy or very energetically safe, or
Right.
emotionally safe. And,
Right.
and and a man doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't even have to say anything. Like one look or one just what he's sending out. So, this is also an invitation for that's why I really, really am so passionate also to work with men and awaken men to their divine masculine, because the more we have divine masculine, the more we feel safe. And the
Hmm.
more we feel safe, the more we can be in our divine feminine. And then trust me, you men are gonna gain so much more freedom yourself and pleasure and love and confidence, being like it's just a cycle that we keep feeding each other. So you want, as a man, you want a world where women feel free and safe to express themselves completely. You want that.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
and those men who do not want that, who are very resistant to it, who are, horrible. I get so many horrible comments a lot of the times because it just shows the resistance that people have when they're not in their divinity,
Right.
which is very sad. But those kind of boys, because I don't even call them men, those kind of boys are not, they are the ones who are destroying this world. And women too. There are women in their shadow feminine who are absolutely destroying this world. It's really, we need divine feminine and we need divine masculine right now to wake up.
This is a perfect point where I can ask this, because I think I heard yeah, I did. I heard another interview, and the point was you're talking about the shadow a lot. And I thought, if you ever talk about that with me, I'm going to ask for an example or some examples. What does that look like? What is that when you talk about
Oh my gosh, that is such a vast word, the shadow. It's always, people always ask me, and I still haven't found the right words to express it. I actually always send a lot of people to Teal Swan, because she has a wonderful ability speaking about the shadow
that?
in
Okay.
a very logical way that people can understand consciously. My way is more, I'm not really good at the masculine way of explaining, even though people say I explain really well. Thank you. But I try. I feel like I still have sometimes I'm struggling with that, especially with concepts that, because the thing is, my work is to translate very unexplainable, vast, energetic things into our human logical brain. So it's really interesting. So shadow is basically everything that is in the shadow, that is not in our, we have our conscious mind, right? We have, I am Luna Aura, you're Adam. We have the self image of who we are. We have the things we know about ourselves, right? Like I like, chocolate, and you like whatever. So we know the things we know about ourselves. And then we have the things we do not know about ourselves.
Okay.
And then we have the things we don't know that we don't know that we don't know about ourselves. That's usually the shadow. It's the things that are so hidden in our subconscious mind. It's the childhood trauma that you don't even remember logically or consciously, but it's controlling who you are. It is the belief that was ingrained in you because of something your dad said when you were 5. It is so endless. Your it's that like that image of there's the ocean and there's like the like the little mountain on the ocean, but underneath the ocean, it's like a huge,
Right.
like the mountain is like, so the consciousness is very small. The subconscious is vast, but it's underneath. And I feel like the work of an awakened person, when I say awakened person, is not a perfect person. None of us are ever going to be perfect, but the work of people who want to be conscious and awaken is to constantly explore one's shadow self, like the self. That's our job, is to constantly ask ourselves the ugly questions and to look in the mirror and to dive deeper constantly.
So could you say that, like, say you get triggered, or we get triggered, somebody gets triggered and they have a reaction that they go, oh my gosh, where did that come from? Could
Exactly.
that be a link to?
That's a shadow. Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
That's an indication of, it was like the fact that you noticed it in that moment is like, oh, okay. Maybe it's not the shadow itself, but it will lead you to the shadow.
Okay. Okay.
It will
So it's
lead
a
you there.
pathway. Okay.
Exactly. It's an arrow pointing, oh, you got to pay attention.
So it's good.
The fact that you're constantly attracting the same woman or the same man, or, patterns in your life that are unhealthy, anything that is not connected to your true divine soul, explore. You must explore. And the reason that most people are not awakened on this planet is because doing shadow work is very ugly. It is not pretty. It is extremely scary. And, people call me judgmental when I say that. I don't care. It is only for the brave at heart. Really. You must be so brave and open and honest and a truth seeker, a constant truth seeker. You cannot lie to yourself and do shadow work. I mean, you can lie to the world. You cannot lie to yourself, because your shadow is going to keep, it's going to keep up with you.
And like in your books, do you talk about that, or in your courses, do you talk about that? Do you have people
I do. I
go?
talk about it, but it's not my main focus. I look at the people, who come for me to the sex magic school as mature, conscious individuals. And I am not going to, I'm going to, how am I going to explain this? I cannot speak about shadow work in one book. Okay. No one can. I don't think no one can. Okay. Carl Jung did a wonderful work with the shadow, by the way. So that's one source of really exploring the shadow, the subconscious self, is studying from Carl Jung's work. But shadow work, you need to do your own shadow work. There is endless ways today to do shadow work. And one who wants to know themselves will find the ways. I really try, even the first book, which is 300 pages, I try to put so much information in it, but I also, because of the subject I talk about, I cannot go too deep, too fast, because I also need to prepare people for this knowledge. It is a very, very deep knowledge. And it's so deep that it doesn't look deep sometimes to people. It's like, oh, what is it? Like it, but people who actually understand the process of this, it is an initiation. I feel like, and shadow work is an initiation. I feel like we have lost the concept and the gift of initiation in our where we are in humanity right now. People want everything fast, everything fast. They want their pizza right now, they want the Uber, they want this, they want, Instagram, only TikTok. Everything is faster and faster. And this is detrimental for our inner soul's evolution. We need initiation. The wizards, the wizards and witches that are controlling our reality, those dark, baneful people, if they're even people, they know this. They go through very serious initiation throughout their lives. And the funny thing is, and I'm not trying not to go into it now, but they're actually putting this society through an initiation, but we don't even know it. This whole lifespan is an initiation of itself, but we're not aware of it. We're so asleep, and we're so much, you know, I'm sorry, it's so deep to get into. It's like I'm trying not to get into all these things that I want to say at once, but we really, the concept of initiation is very needed and powerful. That's why when I do my programs with women and men, especially with the women, because I take them through the Sex Priestess program, it's between 6 to 8 months that I work with one woman alone.
Wow.
It takes time. I'm not just going to sit with you and teach you all the beautiful things about sex positions that you can do and, oh, go do your thing. This is not what I do. I am also very protective of this information, because people can use this information and knowledge for in very baneful ways, and they have. We see this world right now. This is a world created by, like I said, very dark people who have used the same knowledge I'm teaching in very baneful ways. So I do not wish to give more of that information to more people who will use it in baneful ways. I want to keep my followers, you know, my following very small and strong, of people who actually want to use this to change the world, to bring more light into the world, to create sacred unions. We need truth. I don't need more followers. I need to die knowing that I have brought more light into the world, and more truth and more freedom to human beings and to animals.
Beautiful, beautiful. That brings me to the question, and I don't know if you can actually answer this or not, but what does it look like when somebody is connected into that full power? Maybe never full, but way more than they are now. What can we expect to see in a human being who's acting in that goes through, say, a program, an initiation, and then actually starts living it in a fullness?
In a nutshell, in one word, freedom.
Okay.
Absolute freedom. Absolute freedom that's not connected to whatever physical reality you're in, or whatever illusion or dream you're living in right now. It's pure alignment with your soul mission. It's pure joy in every moment. It's pure connection to all life itself. You are literally feeling all life all the time. That's why you can never be in a state of actually hurting someone else. That's why when I go to all these spiritual events, or, listen to gurus, I had when I lived in LA, my friends took me all the time to gurus and teachers and stuff. And I'm sitting there and, they're talking about love and light and awakening and being in that state. And I feel their energy. Like I can't, I feel it. And I always do this. I always like to poke, and I ask, do you still eat animals? And most of them are like, yes, I do. And I bless it before, and I set them free. And I literally get up and leave. I get out of the room and I leave, because you cannot be in that divine, powerful, soul connected state and have any tiny desire in your being to hurt another being or take from another being. That doesn't exist. That's totally BS.
My question.
And also being in that state, I'm just want to finish that question. Being in that state also, if we look at it from the human perspective of being a man or a woman, because we are just men, or I know a lot of people want to disagree with me these days with those words, but we are one of the main laws of this universe is the law of gender. And you can reinvent yourself in whatever way you want. You can be non-binary, you can be an alien, whatever you want, but you are born in a body of either a male or a female. So another thing to see is to connect with that either divine masculine or divine feminine is to see a world where men and women are absolutely free to be that fullness that they are. I mean, I'm trying to put in words that beautiful vision of mine. And I've seen it. I've seen people who live like that. There's not a lot, and it's usually coming in like little moments, and then it kind of fades away. But we have that capacity. It's who we are. It's who we are. I'm just here to remind us of who we are. But you know, it's who we are. It's. I mean, the state of even talking about sex, the state of pleasure and ecstasy that people can reach when they are in that empowered, connected state. It's nothing. We haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Wow.
As humanity. Like we don't even know what sexual pleasure is. You know, we're missing out on so much. On so much.
That's I would love to keep going in that vein of things, but I did have a question real quick that I was thinking of. You know, I realize you say you don't want to harm people and stuff like that, or animals, things like that, but doesn't take away your right to have like self-defense, right? Like if somebody's bringing bad energy towards you or physically, you have the right to still be like, I'm sorry, I didn't start this, you did.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a good thing that you bring it up. So I have a few videos I did about Kali, the energy of the goddess Kali. I don't know if you know of the god, you know.
Yes.
So it is a very vital energy, I feel, for women, especially to embody right now. Okay. Like I mean, I actually told my friend yesterday, I really feel like I need to take some Krav Maga classes, you know, like I need to get back to kicking some ass, you know. And it's not that I want to go and just kick people and hurt them. That's really not. I actually don't ever want to do that. I never have to do that. It's something that I really don't want to do. But it's that energy that it's like it's self-empowerment. It's connecting to that Kali, knowing that I have that capacity to birth life and give life, but also take it. And again, I am repeating. I know some people are going to hear me differently. I'm not saying I want to take a life or I want to kill or hurt anyone else. Right. But it's this feminine force that is very important for women to embody, to take back our powers. We can take life. We can give life. We can take life. And I'm talking energetically too. That's why, you know, women, for example, who came to me and had sexual trauma, I'm talking severe sexual trauma, like rape, like horrible. I teach them very easily, actually, very easily, because it's not that difficult and it doesn't have to take years of therapy. When you understand your power as a woman, when you understand sexual flow and sexual energy, when you understand what the womb is that you have in your body, you're invincible. Wow. It's power beyond anything. We take it for granted, you know. Women giving birth, we just take it for granted. We don't actually understand the power of the feminine. And because we don't live in a world that appreciates and respects and understands the true power of the feminine, guess what? Men are not respected too. Divine men are not respected too. Yes, shadow masculine, they're unfortunately there's the illusion of respect for them, but you know, I don't have any respect for that, and any respect at all. It's disgust that I have, to be honest with you, and anger, very deep anger. But when I see a divine masculine in men, I just like, oh, you know, as a woman, and trust me, most awakened women and conscious women feel the same way as I do. It's like, we're thirsty for divine masculine. Give it to me. I want to worship you. Like, seriously, if men embody their divine masculine, you will be worshipped by women. And not in an egotistical way that these shadow masculine is being worshipped. That's not being worshipped. Right. That's fear. Those women, those little girls who worship these dark men, they're in fear. That's not real love. A divine woman wants to worship a man because she loves. It's that pouring love out of her. That's the kind of worship I'm talking about.
Okay. And you said you work with people, men and women, and that is the goal. That's the goal, is to get them to start experiencing, to start being that person, to start having those experiences, right?
Yeah, being in their true power. Yeah. And because when you are in your true power, that's only then you can create a sacred union, and sacred union is what's going to change this world.
And Do you believe that if you have two people in their power and say they're, they decide to be married or whatever, and they decide to have a child, do you think it carries over into that child? Or do you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. It's actually, in fact, one of the classes I'm going to publish next year is how to create magical children, how to create children from the divine sacred union, because the way that you create a child affects the child and what becomes of the child.
Okay. That's wow. So I want to kind of lighten this up a little bit. Not that anything was wrong with it. That was
Oh, of
awesome.
course, yeah.
You're very passionate. I enjoy that. But I like to lighten it up and have a little fun too. So, can you tell me the most interesting place on the planet that you've ever been to or that you want to go to,
The
and
most
why?
interesting place on the planet. Well, I want to go back home. I
Okay.
want to go back under my home is not Israel. My home is where I came from, and it's in the middle of the earth. Um, it's not in this dimension,
Okay.
meaning if I poke a hole in the earth and go in the middle of it, like you won't see my world if you don't know how to enter that dimension. So it's in this world in a different dimension, if that makes sense. So that's the place that I want to go back to.
Awesome.
I mean, I've
Awesome.
traveled all over, not all over, but too many places, and I still definitely want to. I really want to go to Nepal one day, maybe, and yeah, there's a lot of places. There's endless places, but the more I travel, the more I realize just and also because I'm growing as a person and as a woman on my own, on my human level, I kind of really want. I love the grounding. I love just being in one place for a minute, and because I don't really get to have that a lot.
Right. Right.
So that's
So
yeah.
on the keeping this on a fun note, this is what I'm going to call according to Luna.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you just say yes and why, or you say what you believe and why. Okay.
Okay.
Peanut butter or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Okay. Why?
Because chocolate.
Okay. All right.
I went really deep. I went really deep into that one.
Now, okay, this is going to be better. Bigfoot or UFOs?
Again?
Bigfoot or UFOs?
Oh, UFOs.
Why?
Because they're more real. I don't know why I said that. Bigfoot is real. Guys, Bigfoot is real. I'm just kidding. I don't know if Bigfoot is real, but I know UFOs are real. I've seen them right above my head.
All right. Now, intuition or facts?
Intuition. It's the realest thing ever. That's truth right there. Real intuition, not shadow intuition, real intuition. That's
Real
truth.
intuition. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking or feeling?
Feeling. Oh, it just feels so much better. It's so yummy. It's so yummy. Thinking just gives me a headache.
All right. So that was my little attempt to lighten it up, to have a little fun. So you also have a new book and possibly some retreats. So why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, my new book is coming up soon. I'm still working on it. It's so heavy. So when I write a book, I have to take a lot of breaks. It's called the Sex Priestess Manual.
Okay.
And I promised it for my viewers for a long time. And then I would like to start the Sex Priestess retreats, hopefully the end of this year. I hope so. First, I want to start with the Sex Priestess retreat, and then later on move on to men and women to have sex magic retreat. So stay tuned.
Because right now everything is online, right? And you don't really do things in person at this point.
I don't, unless someone finds me or comes to me in the world and works with me. But I move around a lot. First of all, second of all, it's really hard for people to travel right now because of the situation. The retreats were supposed to start last year, but it's so difficult for people to travel. And so yeah, I've been kind of pushing it and waiting with that. So I hope that we can start doing that at the end of 2022. Some point.
Okay, cool. Well, we're not out of time exactly yet, but we're getting towards the end. So, but I did want to ask you a few more questions, just kind of get some understanding. So my understanding is that you received this information from what you would say is the temple, but
Yes.
the temple is a dimensional space or a place, not a physical. Is that correct?
It's very difficult to explain this concept for people because
Okay.
people want to constantly, and I understand. I wish I'm always trying to find new ways to describe the temple, because I do want people to feel it and to connect with it. But I know that most people, especially men, you guys want to, you seek the logic, which is, I love that. That's what men do when we need that. We need that in the masculine. I'm grateful for that. But not everything can be explained or experienced that way. The temple is one of those things, the temple of Isis and Lilith. And again, this is the name that kind of was given to me. The names Isis and Lilith, as well as they explained to me, are names that are, you see, it's all codes. What I teach is light codes, and light codes is information, and it's information that comes in specific ways and forms to kind of like, what's the word, to reprogram, reprogram really is the best way I can use it. So even the names that they give me, the words, the symbols that they give me let me work with, a lot of the symbols they don't actually work with within the temple, for example, but they know that it's going to help us in humanity at this time, space, reality right now to use.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the temple is an actual place. It is, you may want to call it in the past, in the far past of humanity, but really there is no time. So it's connected to us right now. It's in a different dimension, parallel to us right now, still alive and well, and connecting with us, with our time space reality, to bring us specific information to help us in our evolution right now. In my second book, Symbols of Sex Magic, they actually tell the whole story of what happened to the temple, what is the temple. They go a little deeper into it, and the fall of the temple, which is not really a fall, but what seemed to be the fall of the temple. What happened that changed the reality of, because we lived in a very different reality, which no history book on the planet will tell you, because they hid the true history from us. So, and the word history, if you even look at that word, is his story. That's all that it is. It's someone else's story. That doesn't mean it was actually true. So when I start my books, I actually write it down. I tell people, I want you to read my book as a story. And there is a reason for that. First of all, because stories are very important for humanity. They are, if I sit here and lecture you about this and that and this and that, especially something that you've never heard before, something so far out, something so crazy and extreme, and it's like those alien movies, right? Like where you have all these alien movies that are coming out. But if you have a person that's talking about them seeing an alien, that man's crazy. It's crazy. But if they go see that alien movie, they're in it. They're like, oh my God, did you see that movie? It was like, they're in it. Their subconscious mind affected. So it doesn't matter if their conscious mind thinks, oh, okay, it's a movie, it's not real. Their subconscious mind got it. It was programmed. But that guy who was sitting there lecturing about how he met an alien and he's crazy. No one will listen to him. Make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely. So that brings me to the next question. Have you been to an old ruin of a temple in this natural world? Have you been to one?
In this physical world, again, in the second book, that was channeled to me by the sisters, that all the remainings of the sex temples were destroyed on purpose because they did not want people to connect with that energy, or I understand why. But there is one they said that there is one temple on this planet that's remaining, that is still here, and they really want me to go there. And I was supposed to go there before the COVID, but I didn't end up. And that's a pyramid in Bosnia, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, so if you, that's, by the way, one of the places I really, not even that want to, I need to go there. Like I feel like I need to go there. Like, you need to go there. Okay, I'm going. So yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that when you go there, you'll get, something will happen? Or, I mean, do you think you'll have experiences?
I
What
don't
do
know.
you,
I mean, the thing is, I'm having experiences all the time. I am in the temple every single day. I am in the temple. I have had more vivid, real experiences in the temple that I've had in this physical time dimension. So, I live in multiple dimensions at the same time. I don't just, this is actually this reality that we're living in is actually the least one that affects me, to be honest with you. So
wow.
I have many lives in many different places at the same time that are a lot more um uh I don't know, a lot more powerful for me. Like, I come here, I am here all the time, but I'm here to bring the wisdom to this reality, I feel more.
Hmm.
So if that makes sense, I'm just trying to put that in words. Yeah.
So, why don't you share with everybody how they can connect with you if they feel so, like they desire to, where they can do that at, and then anything else that's, on your mind that you'd like to share.
Sure.
Just feel
I'll start
free.
with the easy stuff. So you can find my website is motherisrising.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Mother is Rising, at Mother is Rising. And my YouTube channel is Luna Aura Mother is Rising. Yeah, and it's good to follow me on all those medias, just because if one of them will be shut down at some point.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, everyone told me I should do Patreon, but I don't know if I really, I to force myself to do all the social media stuff anyway. But and it's something I want to tell people, Sacred Union will change the world. And I really would like to see in my lifetime an ocean of sacred unions. I want to see divine men and women really, really, really connecting with each other in sacred union. I want to see children free and happy. I want to see animals free and happy. I know, and don't believe, I know in every part of my being that the two main things that are going to change this world are the way we use sex and the way we treat animals. If we change these two things, we're going to live in heaven.
Um, I have to ask another question because it's on my mind to ask. When you say sacred union, does it need to be in what most people would say is a marriage, like, the church type marriage
No,
that most people, so it has nothing to do with that component?
not that kind of marriage.
Okay.
A sacred union is a more of a spiritual marriage, is a marriage of souls. Whether you want to have that actual physical ceremony, that's up to you. You can create your own ceremony. I mean, I was actually thinking to start doing those kind of ceremonies to people, because it brings me the most joy. It's, for me, it's really selfish. It's because it brings me the most joy to see people coming in sacred unions, So I always kind of dreamt about being able to be the person who it creates the space for them. But it is a soul commitment to bring and to birth light and love into the world.
Okay. And yeah, I'm glad you explained that because I was curious about that. And
Yeah, no, but the marriage, the idea of marriage, the way we have it today, especially the religious idea of marriage, is so effed up. Oh my God, it's so disconnected from our from everything that we actually are in our divinity. I mean, it has, the thing is, it takes little bits of the truth. It does take that, especially because I was fascinated by religions my whole life. I hated them, but I also wanted to learn everything about them, because you
Right.
got to learn your enemy in a way. So I learned everything about all religions, and especially in the Jewish religions. In the Jewish religion, there are such beautiful, which by the way is all started all from wizards and witches and actual magic. If you go into it, people won't believe me. People think I'm crazy, but study. If you follow any religion, study about this religion. Don't be a fool. Okay, you're giving energy to something. You're feeding a certain beast with energy. You need to know that beast. Okay. So going back to the marriage idea, I mean, there are they take little bits of the beauty and the divinity of the soul divine marriage, but they put all their own agenda and shit all over it. So the truth and the little bits of light is what attracts people to it. Oh wow, look at this. This is beautiful. So the whole religion must be beautiful. That's how they get you. They use truth. That's why every religion must have a bit of the truth, because the truth is the only thing that will actually make a person feel something. That's the thing that awakens something in people. But then they cover it with their own agenda. It's just like any other faith, the satanic faith, anything. They take bits of the truth, cover it with their agenda. It's knowing how to work with people. Again, they know how to work with the subconscious mind. So that's why people need to take their power back. Learn, study about your subconscious mind and be a master of it so it doesn't master you.
That's wonderful. That's a great explanation. So let's see, is there any other questions that I have?
You want to ask something personal?
Yeah. What's your favorite thing to do?
No, personal for yourself.
Oh, for me, I am trying to think. Maybe I'll ask you at a different time. But I did want to ask, have you ever seen the Oracle cards?
I have so many cards. Which Oracle cards?
Well, I was hoping to see a Luna Aura Oracle card.
Oh, my cards?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm working on it. Yeah, sex magic cards. They're coming.
Okay.
It's going to take me a little bit of time because it's a lot of work and I have so many classes and books to finish beforehand. But I'm obsessed with cards. I've been using cards since I was a kid. So I can't wait to have my own deck. If anyone out there wants to help me do it, please contact me.
And you never told me about that, right?
No.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're so powerful. I started working on them already, but it's just, again, I'm doing everything by myself too. So it's a lot and there's a lot.
That's cool. Well, I'm excited to see what that finished project looks like.
Thank you.
And is there anything else on your heart that you feel like sharing?
I wish us all freedom. I wish us all just truth and freedom and to return to the womb of the mother, to return home.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's powerful. It's tough because I want to keep asking you questions, but I also want to keep this, to a reasonable time. So maybe we can do it again. Maybe
Sure.
There can be a part 2 or extension of it. So
of course.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this today. And I hope you get everything you're desiring, and I hope things work out. And hopefully we can talk again and have a part 2.
Thank you, Adam. It's nice to put a face to the emails finally.
Okay.
And also if you have your own personal questions that I can assist you with and serve you, please, let me know. We can even do it on a video or off video, whatever you want.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank
Maybe
you
if
so
you do it on
much.
video also, it will help other men. It's always, I feel like we need more men to speak out and to express and to be vulnerable, because we need more men to do that as well and to awaken and to see more divine masculine examples around them. So
That makes total sense. And
Mm.
yes, I'll take you up on that offer as soon as you know, I was kind of on the spot and my mind was like, what do I want to ask? I'm sure there's things I want to ask. I just don't know what they are right now. But I'll get that little list together and then we can talk again.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
blessings.
Blessings. You have a good day, okay?
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, brother. Bye.
Bye.